Hello, you beautiful people. Welcome to your Wednesday night's entertainment. Joey and myself in the studio. We've also got a special guest, don't we, Joey? A very special guest that I wanted to kill about 30 seconds ago.
Tonight, we've got Suraj Rai in the house. He's very entertaining. So it is going to be a night full of entertainment. We went fishing with Suraj on the weekend, and we're going to tell you all about that.
Basically, Suraj just firewalled us out of our own podcast.
Yeah, he just cranked up the firewall to maximum security, and it so much that it didn't let us actually go live.
We've already got some very special guests. We've already got some very special guests on the line, Suraj. Michelle wants to say hello to you there. So,
hello, Michelle.
How have you been, my friend? We haven't had you on the podcast for a little while. You've been lurking around in the background, but here you are back in studio.
It feels good to be with you boys, and always a good time to spend time with you both. Yeah.
Last time we spoke to you was we did a land-based snapper special, which we had some really good feedback on, and I believe even you've been getting recognised because you're famous now. But this was before your snapper season. So how was your land-based snapper season this year, Suraj?
It went on it was pretty good. I didn't achieve that 90 plus that I was hoping for, but they were quite a good size around, and I was happy with that. I missed that prime time. I had to be in Queensland. So, yeah, but maybe this season.
What was your best snapper session off the rocks this year, Suraj?
Two of us were there. We backed out with all above 70 centimeter and had to throw a few of them 60 centimeter back. So that was a pretty good session.
Your wife, Priya, she doesn't like you keeping the big snapper. She only wants the small ones, right?
No, she now likes the big ones. So she doesn't. She says throw the small one. By small, she means 60 centimeter.
And Suraj, what was your best bait using off the rocks? The best bait for snapper off the rocks?
Mate. Yeah, squid. Guys, is this a snapper sort of podcast? Or?
No, we're just getting some...
We're just getting to know you again, Suraj. Reminding all the listeners of what a legend you are off the land catching fish. Because it requires a lot of patience. So you must be a very, very patient man.
Oh, my. Kingfish has been a bit tough. We'll get there.
What do you think about the whiskey tonight, Suraj? You're a bit of a connoisseur.
Cheers, mate. I don't know which brand it is, but it was Northern Australia.
It's Westwood.
Westwood.
And it's Westwood, and it's a whiskey club from a couple of months ago. So there you go.
Yeah.
I think
it must be all right, because you just said before we started recording, you said, mate, I am pretty drunk. So it's must be some strong whiskey.
No, I had a couple of drinks before I met you guys.
Okay. So you won't be nervous then. You'll be able to talk the house down.
Oh yeah, I fully relaxed, mate.
Now, guys, Dave and Suraj, we all went fishing on Sunday morning into the afternoon. We went out in Extreme. She was quite a full boat. There was 5 on board. There was Jeremy, there was Dave, myself, and Suraj, and we went straight into Bass Strait. We went fishing for a change.
You might have, if you were watching last week, you might have heard me a bit concerned at the prospect of having 5 people casting lures at once on the boat, and that was well founded, as it turns out.
Absolutely, I can even there was one point in the day there, I can actually pinpoint the moment where Dave actually lost his temper completely. Okay, I can pinpoint it now.
We're about to have to make this
up on your screen right now. And
we're about to have to register this podcast as explicit. Did you know that, Joe?
Yeah, we might have to. We won't hear it, but I'm pretty sure I've pinpointed the moment.
Oh, okay.
There it is up on your screen there. The exact moment where Dave has gone, this is a FCUKEN, not very good. So, as you can see, that's a popper mid-air that's just about to crash onto the fiberglass floor of Extreme. And by God, did it make a big crashing noise slamming on the deck of Extreme. It sent Dave into quite a rage.
To be fair, that was about the 4th time that had happened in a row. Matthew Leeson, shout out to my man Reese, who reminded me live watching is a thing, and hook protectors should be removed prior to trolling your lures. Yeah, that's definitely a thing. Although I've heard that having hook protectors on your kingfish jigs is even more detrimental to your fishing activities. We actually had an even better tool of the week this week, which we might get into a little bit later, Joey.
Yes, we did. But we Matthew Leeson, we did have Reese Kennedy on board as well. He definitely he had a good day on Sunday as well. Here he is in all of his glory.
We've got the Ely brothers on the chat too, trying to locate each other.
Yes, the long lost Ely brother. There you go. There's Reese Kennedy with a beautiful bluefin there. That's probably about 15 kilos. What do you reckon?
There's a big bluefin in that video, and there's also a tuna.
You reckon he's a bit of a barrel?
No, it was very good to catch up with Reese. I haven't fished. He's been a little bit out of the game. Around about 2015, I broke his spirit with many large tuna trips in a row. And then he finally caught his barrel at Port McDonald. It was 129 kilo, and he basically hung up the reels after that one.
I'm also a big fan of Reese. It's been fantastic to catch up with him. I'm happy with his triumphant return to fishing. Reese Kennedy, he's a cracker of a bloke.
Now, sorry, Suraj.
I was just wondering, I did send a message to Reese. Is he in the house tonight?
He may well be. We'll have to wait
Reese,
and see.
He could be watching this somewhere. He might not
if you're
have.
watching this, can you just say hi to us, mate? Just for sake of courtesy.
And Reese Kennedy, he was exceptionally happy catching a bluefin, which he did catch on popper.
Now,
but he wanted to.
Before you put that on the screen, Joe, is it wise to put someone's license photo on the internet?
Well, you can't really see it from far away.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
I've tried to stop him, Reese.
Okay.
He's doing it.
All right, I'll
Do
do the non-licensed photo. Here we go. Because apparently nowadays, when you catch a fish for a fishing club, you have to take a picture of your ID next to the fish on the brag mat. But this is the ID less picture. It's a bit there, but it's there's a finger blocking it. But there you go. What does that tuna measure? What do we got there? It's about 110 centimeters or?
Yeah, are we going fork length? I normally go fork length on tuna. That puts that at 105.
105.
Although I think these competitions probably overall length, which would be total length.
Yeah.
Which is cheating.
He told us, we've got to measure this. I could be the fishing club champion. So we did that for Reese.
Credit to him though. He wanted to weigh it, and he still gutted it because he
and he kept the gut separately.
No, I think he threw them out. He weighed it, gutted it was 17 kilo.
They were in that black menswear bag.
Really?
Love a good second-hand plastic bag on the boat.
Does whoever's bag it was know that they were in there?
Well, that's that's what you do, right? If you really want to weigh it, you can weigh the guts and the fish, right? And then just 1 + 1 = 2.
Well, I just got told that it was 17 kilo cleaned, which I thought was actually quite large.
17 kilos.
Yeah, I would have said more like 14. So there you go. I've been undercalling him.
I thought you said I think he said his fishing club's biggest was 16. So he's just out by a whisker in the front there.
By a nose. We should touch on the way out. I don't know if you've got any videos on there. There was a couple of submersibles entering Western Port, Joe.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was actually really funny. That I will bring that right up on our screens.
Dave.
Yes, Suraj.
Do we also mention that we also caught the smallest tuna on our trip?
Yeah.
It was close to 3 kilos. You know?
Excuse me. It was a bit bigger than 3 kilos, Suraj.
It did look like 3 kilos.
At least I caught a tuna.
Me. It was Dave who said it was 3 kilos. So I'm sticking by it.
I hooked a tuna on the popper and Reese and Suraj go, Joe's just hooked the smallest tuna in the world. It looks like it's about 3 kilos.
Well, it actually looked tiny when it took the lure, but I think that's more of a reflection of how good the size of the fish have been this year. Because I think your one was just like a normal size one, like what we normally like the smaller end of the normal.
It was about 10 kilos, I would say.
It wasn't that small at all, actually.
Yeah.
but it looked tiny at the time.
But anyways, back to what we saw as we were heading out down the Western Channel on Sunday morning. Up on your screen right now is there we go, Dave. You can narrate away, my friend.
Well, basically, we're going down the Western Channel of Western Port, not one but two. What I can only assume are Chinese submarines. No, I think they're Australian, but they were coming into the port, Joe, which is pretty cool. Don't know where they ended up. I think at least one of them's moored up there off Hastings at the moment.
Yeah, they were submerged. Sorry, they were. What's the opposite of submerged?
Emerged.
They emerged from the water, and they were just steaming up the channel. A pair of submarines.
Do you think that we're getting a replacement for the Atama, which was the submarine that sat off Hastings for many years, rusting away, and recently got transported to Western Australia and scrapped?
That's exactly what I was thinking. Like, we've actually got some real moving submarines in Western Port for a change, not just a ornamental relic sitting at the bottom of a particular beach that's collecting probably almost every fisherman's anchor.
Or just mine, but
I reckon a few people lost anchors on that thing.
They took one. They've given us back 2 working submarines. That must have been part of the deal. So that's pretty good.
Nice.
Definitely not something you see every day. I was just trying to Google if there was anything in the news about these subs coming into the port, and there's nothing on there. So they were really covert.
Not long after seeing the submarine steam into Western Port, we decided to stop along at Buoy 12, where the water, there was thousands of fish nipping the surface of the water. So we couldn't resist ourselves to go and stock up on some lovely live kingfish bait. So away we went, and we proceeded to fill the tank of yakkers and slimies.
Well, it's always good when your bait collecting is that easy, Joe. You're just on your way down the channel and bang.
Just look at the nipping fish on the surface of the water.
Now you'd think, well, there's all that bait there. There should be kings under them. Potentially there was, but I jigged my little heart out for a while, and no good. There's Suraj with a gasper in the mouth.
Dave, remember you and Joey were putting a video on TikTok, and I said the word FUCK, and he stopped.
Yeah, you got us banned.
And he also got us banned. Apparently, you can't be using tobacco while going live on TikTok.
It was 10 minutes off.
We got banned for like 10 minutes because Suraj swore and was smoking.
But yeah, look, Buoy 12 is definitely a famous inshore kingfishing spot. There, I said it. Get me. Kingfish Mafia. Buoy 12 is a great spot for kingies. There was heaps of bait on it. And Dave even tried to jig on that particular buoy with no avail this time. It's not to say they weren't there.
The Kingfish Mafia, they stick to the shadows, only emerging when someone threatens to expose their fishery. Then they attack you with venom on social media.
Yeah.
They're out there.
Unbelievable.
And then the rest of the trip, Joey, how'd that go? We had another crack at kingfish for a little while. I thought it looked quite good there, actually.
We did try kingfish. We proceeded to head over to our faithful Cape Shank, where the water was actually beautiful. It was overcast, but you were pretty impressed with the colour of it, Dave. What was your observations of Cape Shank on Sunday?
I thought there's no reason for us not to catch fish here. The water's blue. We've got good live bait, and we're the only boat there.
Yep.
Yet we didn't catch fish. Oh, there's another boat in the video.
Yeah,
but they weren't fishing for kings.
They dropped their anchor there in front of the rock there. You were pretty concerned about them, Suraj.
Sorry, mate.
Do you remember the boat there?
I just forgot to mention the highlight of that trip was fishing without the handle, the reel.
Well, I was going to get to that. I've actually sent Joey a little video.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
I'll get him to jump into in a minute.
Yeah, we do definitely have that there. So this is this week's tool of the week. He's brought it prematurely, but the tool. Explain to me what's going on here. What?
He's just cackling.
What's going on here?
That's his new reel that he's bought, and he's been like desperate to catch a fish on. and he keeps dragging out on the boat and getting in the way and stuff. And he made me put a back. So first of all, I've deployed live baits on my setups that are already rigged, ready to go, as usual. And then Suraj is like, mate, I want to catch kingy on my rod and reel. I'm like, okay, but there's no reel on the rod. There's no rig on the rod. You're not ready at all, mate. So here I am. I set his rod and reel up. No, I set his rod up, put the reel on, and we put it out. And Reese says, there's no handle on the reel.
No.
Suraj forgot to put the handle on.
It's unbelievable. We had Shell's Salt Living in the chat. She said, there's me at the lighthouse. She was there at the lighthouse on Sunday, and Dave was pretty worried when he had to go to the toilet overboard. He was like, oh, I hope Shell doesn't see me from up there. Yeah, you don't want that.
Yes,
You do not. That would be really embarrassing to be spotted, up on that cliff.
That would have to be like the Hubble telescope to make that out from there, Joe.
The Hubble telescope. I like that.
Yeah. So anyway,
I had laser eye surgery. I probably would have seen it.
Probably. You do have good eyes these days.
Yeah.
So after the kingfishing fail, we already had Tom, my brother, was out and he'd already found the tuna and caught one. And there was a few other boats getting stuck into them. You can only resist leaping tunas for so long, can't you, Joey?
Oh yeah, absolutely. They were absolutely thrashing about on the surface. And apparently, live report as of this afternoon, off Cape Shank there, they were buffing all afternoon. The fish have been feeding all day long, apparently.
Not just Cape Shank, right through.
Yeah.
Here's a video that Joey gives you a bit of an idea of just the carnage that was going on.
Yeah, that was Sunday. And what are we today? Wednesday?
Yep, Wednesday. Now, this is interesting because I've found in previous years of tuna fishing, they don't start jumping till a little bit later in the season, Joe. But you can see here they're already getting some sweet airtime. So normally I find the procedure is when they first turn up, they're doing the rippling thing.
Yes.
Probably the hardest to catch them at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And then they the mutton birds move in, they start feeding under the mutton birds, but they don't really jump very often. And then a little bit later on, you'll find that the terns and white birds will join in the party. The bait profile will change and they'll start to bust up, which we've already got starting to go on now, which is fantastic viewing, but can make they're moving very quickly when they're doing this, and it can be hard to get a lure in and get a hook up. As much as it might look like it should be shooting fish in a barrel, they're locked in on tiny, tiny bait.
Oh, well, like Dave mentioned, the white terns are usually absolute dynamite because they're like a small predatory bird that usually indicates where the leader school tuna, where the pack is going, like usually where the tern is dipping its head. That's sort of the superior predatory bird and indicates where the school's going. But, we were getting a few bum steers with flocks of seagulls.
Oh, yeah, useless seagulls.
We've seen a white bird in the distance. We charged towards it on the boat.
Race on in.
And it was just a pack of lousy seagulls, which are very lazy feeding birds.
The seagulls are normally on a current line of weed and stuff, Joe, I find.
Yeah.
So a bit of bird intel here for you. Basically, when you're chasing these summer school fish, you're looking for, here's Michelle pointing out all the fish.
Yeah.
You're looking for
Dave
terns.
peeing over the side of the boat.
No, you're looking for that. You're looking for mutton birds and terns. What we generally like to see during winter when we're chasing big fish is gannets. But they're not always the answer for these school fish because the gannets eat a larger bait like a full pilchard, Joe, whereas the terns will feed on the white bait more. So what you're looking for is mutton birds and terns.
Yeah.
In summary.
And you know what, Suraj, you even asked a question on the weekend. You said, but Captain Dave, why are they jumping?
I mean,
Because they're happy.
I don't know, man, that tunas were jumping out of the water. I have seen tuna sort of, semi out of the water, not full out of the water and diving down. It was quite an exciting moment to see that, but I'm not sure why they were sort of going so high up. maybe Captain Dave has the answer for all these things because he knows all those garnet tune. What's that bird called?
Gannet.
And the other one, the small.
Gannet Jackson.
No, the small that it's small. Tun.
Yep. No, turn.
Turnip.
Turn, not dern.
Okay.
Turn.
Yeah.
No, then the other. What's the brown bird called? Do you remember what the brown bird's called?
We got more brown bird than the tuna. We hooked, I think, 4 pound brown birds. Yeah.
You're not supposed to tell people that.
Oh, sorry.
Your friend Jeremy actually copped quite the grilling from a mutton bird, didn't he?
Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah.
If anybody saw Jeremy's arm, maybe back in the workplace this week, they would have thought the poor guy tried to take his life. But no, it was.
He was horrific.
No, like the poor the mutton birds, and they've got webbed feet with claws, and they absolutely scratched the crap out of his arm. So good to have a towel on board if you do hook a mutton bird and you want to safely set it free. So yeah,
there you go.
Best practice.
So before we wrap up our fishing trip, what was the end score, Joe?
Oh, we lost 4. Reckon we lost 4 and we caught 2.
Not bad.
That was a good score, isn't it?
I think we lost more than 4 actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we lost more than 4.
How many you reckon, Suraj?
Maybe we lost 5 or 6, kind of. I feel because there was a lot of issue with the jigging with the boys too.
You're popping, you mean?
Pop, yeah.
More of a I'm definitely more of a popper than a jigger nowadays. I used to be a jigger back in the day, but now more of a popper.
You and Captain are good at popping.
Well, we pop till we drop. So I guess the takeaway from the popping is where our friend Jeremy probably struggled a little bit is too much slack line on the bite. So the fish are just grabbing the popper and letting it go again, which is why Joe and I tend to do a very small pops. That way you're always tight on the line and you can strike when the fish bites because you really want to slam those hooks into the fish, don't you, Joe?
Absolutely. And look, we did have a few different rod and reel weights and lengths. And yeah, that's really it's important to get that hook up solid to the fish.
What did you think of my my setup that I've chosen for this season, Joe?
Oh, you know what, Captain? I should say that the setup you had chosen was perfect because I had heavy gear, mostly probably designed for GT or something like that, and sort of the action of the pop wasn't good, but you had a very probably 6 to 10 kilo stiff rod, and it was swift and small, sort of very sensitive, and it was popping well. So and Joey was using the same, and that's why you guys had success with the hookup. And what I noticed is that pop thing, the motion, you got to get some experience on it to hook it. I know that's,
you learned
that was my
you learned a lot on Sunday.
I hooked before, but it was in Dave's gear. So when I took my big GT kind of popped with that, it was sort of it wasn't the same effect or flow, and I just realized it's not going to get that.
So for everyone that's going to ask, the rod that I've been running is an Shimano Extraction 7102 spin. So it's a 15 to 30 pound rod, and it's got a 5,000 Saragossa on it.
Yeah, it was absolutely.
It was quite like a sensitive, light. Maybe it was 20, 30 pound line.
It's 20 pound line.
Yeah, so
it's sensitive like you are, Suraj.
Yeah, sensitive, and sort of the popping with that was much better.
But you do need to set those hooks because it's quite a light rod. So that's one thing you got to get used to. And you get that through
Yeah.
experience, don't you, Joe?
Absolutely. And there's Reese on it there as well. It was you know what? Suraj made a great call. It probably was that was the setup that caught the tuna. It was just a perfectly balanced rod for popping at those school bluefin tuna. But the reason why it's perfectly balanced is you know, when you're sort of pulling the tip down and making the popper pop perfectly, like you need to make that popper pop perfectly.
What's
As soon as it hits the water, you can't make it tumble. There's a lot of factors there. There's swell, there's wind, there's the school feeding in a certain direction, and you just need to make sure that that popper imitates a fish. But yeah, it's very technical. In fact,
what's interesting there is Reese is probably one of the biggest crap talkers I've ever known. He constantly has something to say, and I've seen him catch a lot of big fish. I've never seen him lost for words, but when he hooked that fish after trying desperately all day to catch one on top water, he was dead silent, wasn't he, Joe?
yeah, he
had
was.
maximum concentration going in minding that fish. And wouldn't you know it, he got it next to the boat, and the leader actually popped. It gave way milliseconds before I got the gaff in the fish. So I actually gaffed the fish whilst it wasn't even attached to the line anymore. Thank God for that, because I think I would have been in trouble otherwise. You can see there's no line attached to that lure.
There isn't. No, you're right. He was dead silent. It was like he was perfectly aligning a solar panel on a roof in his day job.
Brock Ellie wants to know what our favourite popper to use is. Well, we've used we've gone through a number of various ones, but normally if they're about that 130 to 160 mil long profile, they're going to be quite successful. So we've used in the past Chug Norris's by Nomad.
Nomads, yep.
And then we've used Halco Rooster Poppers, which are cheap and very effective.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've lately been using the Mariah Pop Queens, which are bloody popular. Everyone's using them. But I'm a bit excited, Joe. I've got some new ones coming from Shimano. They're like a 130 mil. I think they're called a bomb dip.
It's called a bubble dip.
I think they're called a bomb dip.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
going to look that up because I think I'm right.
Okay.
So we've got them coming, so that should be pretty good.
Yes.
Shimano bomb dip.
I think I have it there from the video from earlier today. It's it's a bubble dip.
No, it's a bomb dip.
It's a bubble dip.
Shimano Oshia bomb dip.
I'm looking at the video right now.
No, that's not them. That's the big dog. Yeah, that's a different popper, mate.
Oh, okay.
They're the 220 mil mega dogs.
The large ones.
Yeah. No, the other ones haven't come yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So we're both right. We agree to be both right.
No, just me.
Okay.
Just me is right.
You know what, Dave? I have a special friend.
Oh dear.
You know, watching the podcast.
Oh,
yeah.
Sure. No.
Yeah, and his name is Ellery Knott.
Oh, I thought you were going to say
I'd like
Michelle.
to say hi to him. He's actually SMSing me, and but I just want to announce, you are a good fellow, mate.
When's Ellery coming fishing, Suraj?
He's announced it.
He'll come soon, mate. He's taking his time, and
Okay.
whenever he's ready, he'll join the team.
Very good. So I think that was a fair wrap up of our fishing, Joe. We had a ball. Well, actually, mostly a ball. There was some minor frustrations.
There's just one more thing I want to round off on.
What have you got, Joe?
We once again were we're a food podcast as well as fishing.
Yes. How could I not mention this?
We were a floating restaurant on on Sunday, and we dived into some of the culinary delights of Nepal.
No, Joey, this is Tibetan. Nepali.
Oh, sorry.
Nepali.
Nepal.
No. Nepalese dumplings are a bit different.
Okay.
Do you eat these while ascending Everest normally?
Oh, wow.
Suraj, I need you to tell all the listeners what's up on the screen now. What are you cooking here on board Extreme? You've got the frying pan out. You've got some oil, and what's happening here?
So, Joey, I made something called a Tibetan dumpling. They have a simple, not too much ingredient, just ginger, You put some onion and salt and pepper with freshly minced meat, and put some little bit of
What sort of
fat.
meat?
Oh, you want it slightly thicker. If you go to the butcher, you want sort of to ask him to give you the slightly
Is it
thick
pork?
mince.
Pork or
yeah,
beef?
with this one was with pork,
Mm.
and I bought one portion with the fatty one, another one with non-fat, with the normal meat. So you want a bit of a fat out there to retain the moisture, and then you make the dumplings, right? And then the usually we make our own dough and roll it. It takes too much time, so I got the
Pre-made ones.
pre-made those what do you call the
I know what you're talking about.
yeah the
Yeah,
what is
dumpling
it called?
things.
Dumpling yeah
Dumpling sheaths.
yeah, dumpling sheet, let's call it dumpling sheet. And then
What did you just say? Dumpling.
and then just steam it, and then got it to the boat. And then look, now this dumpling you got to have with that special sauce.
The sauce is
the
what
sauce,
makes it.
I don't have any
sauce,
pictures of the sauce, but it was a homemade. It was a homemade chili sauce. It had a green one and a red one.
A
That's
green one
correct.
for the pussies on board like Reese, and a red one for the real men like me.
Yeah, yes.
Well, I mixed
Yeah.
both of the sauces into each other, so
Yeah.
I am the champion of the hot sauce.
Tough guy, eh?
And you know why I feel so happy that I made this dish? Because I of course for us we got some. I also gave I had one Tupperware for Maddie, another for Christine, and Maddie sort of
These were the wives of the
Hang on,
fishermen.
hang on.
This
Yeah.
was the fishermen's wives. So
Well, she's pregnant. She's eating for two, Suraj, and
so
Sam
that's why
had some.
I was happy. Like she had, she had, that she loved it. So and she gave me 10 out of 10 score. So
Yeah,
I'm
she's
wrapped, man.
She's kind.
Although I
gave
didn't
you
catch no tuna, nothing. The dumpling came out well. Joey was happy. Captain Day was fairly happy. There was some moment where yeah, thinking. But look, on the whole, it was awesome trip, and I better have a better trip with no fish than lots of fish than something else. So it's a company, I feel.
You weren't
Yeah,
happy.
yeah.
I gave you dumpling 8 out of 10 though. I've never seen you so
I
furious.
never consider your score too seriously. So,
Oh.
that's the most meanest thing I've heard
no,
Suraj
no,
ever
no,
say
no.
ever.
See,
Oh well, yeah. Well, I'm revising to a 5.
yeah,
out of 10.
yeah. From 8, you brought it down to 6, and
Yeah,
he
I've
says,
gone
you
lower.
got to put some moisture or
It's
broth. Sorry,
so
broth
dry.
in the dumpling. And I'm trying to think, how do I put broth in the dumpling, and how
Work
do
it
I put
out, mate.
more moisture? Usually, you have these dumplings like it's in a steamer. It goes straight onto your plate, right? So, but now in this case, we don't have that luxury. It needs to cool down. When you cool down, the moisture is going to sort of come out from it's going to absorb the skin is going to absorb the moisture.
Well, you're gonna have
So-
to make the dumplings on the boat from scratch, I'd say.
Well,
retain the
maybe
moisture.
we have one dumpling podcast.
We had our friend Sean Hildyard on his boat, and as we were trolling past him, he said, Joey, I could smell that. This lousy South African accent, but yeah.
Yeah, no, you're normally better than that.
Yeah,
That's all
a
right.
bit better.
Sean, your good friend Sean was actually out there, Joey, and he, after getting mildly distracted by salmon,
He
which
was
is his favorite
he,
species.
He struggled to leave them. In fact, I think
Yeah,
I've actually can put that up on our screen right now. There you go.
He probably cost himself some tuna.
Yeah.
But look at them. That's genuine excitement. That's his father-in-law, I believe.
Yes, that's Phil and Jono on board, and they had monster salmon in close off Gunnamatta, which actually Tom Standing had successfully chartered them onto those big salmon.
Oh, that's
Because
right.
Tom,
yeah.
Dave's brother, was out Sunday morning. He's like, "Oh, I'm straight into the tuna,"
Yes.
and then Sean was. I text Sean. I said, "Sean, Tom's on the tuna, mate. You got to get to Gunnamatta."
Yeah, race on down there.
Yeah, and then I rang Tom on the phone. He's like, "Nah, they were just big salmon."
Yes, Tom's done the early call. It's that's embarrassing, but that's all right. He recovered and caught a tuna. But you do not want to miscall a salmon school, do you,
That
Joe?
salmon's huge.
That's a big kahalo.
Yeah.
And anyway, they were genuinely excited on the light gear there. So everyone had a good day, Joseph.
Yeah, I sure did.
I feel we've fairly comprehensively covered that day of fishing.
We
now.
have. Let's move right along.
There was quite a large competition held very recently, and it was at Port Stephens. It was the Interclub, and I didn't realize, Joe, but these are big money events. So you might want to read this little blurb. This is from Mick Benici.
Yep.
And it was his wife that actually caught the winning fish in the end. So if you have a read of the little blurb there, Joey.
Yep, I sure will. From Team Benici. Thought I'd do a little story about what went down on Sunday, day 2 of the 2004 shootout. We always fish, tag, and release in all tournaments. Day 1 started off pretty well, going 3 from 5, dropping a couple from bad eats. This still had us up there as the leading boat had 4. As day 2 started, the area didn't look as fishy, so we put baits out and started to wander around, and before long, we picked up a striped marlin and then hooked a black marlin within 10 minutes of putting the gear out. I thought we could get him quick as he was behaving after a couple of missed hard tag shots. He shot under the boat and Haley cut him off with the prop. There was a few words thrown around, but that happens. And now I know exactly how many I have run over in the last 5 years. Ha ha. Not long after we get a pile on bite, which looked a little different, then the norm as Haley went up onto the drag, we realized it was a blue. It tore up the ocean and then past the front of the boat at Mach speed. Luckily to stay connected, but we did and got a good look at her. The call was made to try and capture this one at this stage. The leading fish was 164 kilos. It was a nerve-wracking 3-hour fight, and to top it off on 15-kilo line and 100-pound leader, we couldn't do much but hope it stays on the surface, which it did, and with some light leader from Alex at Volts, Jeremy was able to slip the flyer in. We didn't know really what to expect, but now we will never forget, and we got it in the boat and made our way to the gantry. A massive thanks to my crew, as they are always ready and trying their best. Nothing's ever a hassle. Haley is one of the best anglers I've seen and did an amazing job. There you go. Blue marlin, 194 kilos on.
That's
it there.
That's
15
absolutely
kilo.
right. That's amazing, that effort. So congratulations to them. And 50 grand, Joe. That makes it worthwhile, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So a great fishing tale there. Another very interesting aspect to that is I was shown a map from Simon Webster. I've actually sent it through to you there, Joe, if you want to get it up. Oh, you're onto it. So what this shows is actually the locations of the tagged fish in the Interclub overlaid with the locations of the potential wind farm that's going in there. So you can see it's right smack bang in the middle of the fishing zone. So that is going to be quite catastrophic to what is an extremely important fishery and very valuable to the local towns on that coast as well, Joe.
Yeah, that's very, very interesting.
So everyone needs to make themselves aware of what's going on there.
Mm-hmm.
My wife is also saying she's seeing a black screen.
A black screen?
Dropped out.
Oh, well, it's it looks like it's all connected.
No, I think it's just her, Suraj.
No. Oh.
Oh, no.
What?
Internet has gone down again.
I don't know about that. It says
it's
it's connected. And oh, well, but everybody's writing on the chat line, so
it's dropping. They're saying it's dropping out again. It must be freezing. If you exit,
but we can see everybody chatting, so the internet's connected.
It's very odd. We're gonna have to
keep pushing along.
Bail out of there.
See, I see. Now it's okay.
Okay.
Okay. The stream's still going.
That was quite scary. Hopefully that doesn't happen again.
Yep.
I don't know what happened there, guys, but anyway, we're back on.
We're back on the line.
We're back on.
But look, we got to fix this after this podcast.
We'll have a look afterwards.
We'll have some backup things running. So yeah, so I think we've got a pretty much a better setup than before. Yeah.
Do you
You
think the
agree?
Russian hackers have gotten into our system?
That's why I put the
It happened.
firewalls
It
in.
happened at the 40-minute mark last time. Anyways, that's for after the show. Let's carry on.
All right. If anyone in the chat, everyone in the chat room can just keep us updated if you are having issues. There's not much we can do about it, but
No,
we'll
I
certainly
think
take
it's
it on board.
working, Dave.
Yeah, it is
it's
now.
working. Yeah.
It is now.
Yeah.
But, anyway, something to address after the podcast.
Yes.
All right. Tournament fishing up there. And Joe, we had some cool little packages arrive today, so you were very excited about that.
Yes, we did. Wind Against Tide is brought to you by Shimano Australia. Now we're very proud to say, and we've got some beautiful Shimano gear, which we're very, very excited to start fishing with. We've always been staunch Shimano users, as is, but just to partner up with Shimano, we are really, really excited because we absolutely love their stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's going to be very exciting to put some of that through its paces. I'm most looking forward to running the new Speedmaster 12s on the extraction jigging rods, Joe. They're the ones that I'm pretty keen to take out for a run. I reckon they'll actually be capable of catching some pretty big fish.
Yeah, definitely.
Just got some spooling up to do, and then we'll be able to run them through their paces.
You've got a little spooler up at in your garage.
Yes, I do. A brilliant little invention from local fella Frank, Busted Fishing. He makes these awesome line spooling devices. Absolutely not sponsored, but that is a fantastic product he's created there, and you got to give kudos to him because the man's an engineering mastermind. So, I can, in the comfort of my own home, spool up all our reels for us, Joey, which is good.
Awesome.
So, looking forward to using that stuff. Now, do we want to have a quick look at some of the fishing reports?
Would love to. Let's do it.
Hey!
Welcome to the Hookup, where we go around Australia and indeed the world for the freshest fishing reports.
I'm going to kick off tonight's hookup right into the skinny waters of the upper channels of Western Port. Fabian Villela and Matt Mepstead fished on Saturday evening up in those skinny channels east of Tooradin, and he's got there a 78 centimeter snapper. They actually caught 3 snapper after they got 15 King George whiting, but 3 snapper, and their biggest pictured there, Matt's holding a 78 centimeter snapper on a salmon frame. So great to see that in the peak of a hot February summer that there's some beautiful snapper actually getting up about in Western Port.
Don't show Suraj this. He'll make me go snapper fishing again. I've tried to tell him there's none in Western Port. I can see your eyes lit up when you saw that report, Suraj. Very exciting.
I know, Captain. My sister-in-law is here from Perth, and snapper is the go. We got to try.
We'll certainly get right on that.
Well, go up off Tooradin there, Suraj, the skinny waters, and bring your salmon frames, and you might get one.
Man, how can you say no to the jumping fishing frenzy we witnessed over the weekend to go sit in dirty water?
Suraj gave his tuna to the cat.
Dave, you know what? My wife is watching, and I'm getting scolding, saying, "How come others are catching snapper and you?"
Oh, well,
Yeah,
you can tell Preo to get herself a boat and catch her own snapper. she'll whack me for that.
She's relying on you as the hunter and the collector, Suraj.
But the thing is that it's most of the time like tuna, man. She didn't even touch it. It was Buddy ate 300 grams.
Buddy's the dog, right?
Yeah, and I ate 100 grams, and I gave all the rest to neighbor, man. That's the story of my tuna that I took.
Yeah, there you go. That's the end of that. Dave, there's been some big whiting in Western Port also.
There's been some very good whiting fishing going on. And especially down towards the entrances, there's been those 50 centimeter plus fish getting caught. We saw Lee Rayner get stuck into them recently.
Yeah, absolutely.
Down there in the southern parts of Port Phillip Bay, also producing whiting, maybe not to the same size, but reasonable numbers if you work through them.
Yep, Anchors Away has been getting stuck into some beautiful whiting there as well, and like they're absolute monsters. And like I was said last week, like You can tell a whiting's big by having a look at the size of the lips. Look at the size of those whiting lips, Dave. Look at them. Look at on the screen. Can't you tell? That's a big whiting. If you can see the the lips of the
Really?
whiting, they're
Okay.
big.
How many centimeters do you think that is?
Oh, they've got to be close to 50 centimeters. They're
50?
big. Yeah.
Is it? Like,
You could do a lot with
Do you-
those
do you-
whiting lips.
Do you like eating whiting, Suraj?
that's a very touchy topic.
Tell me more.
I have cooked a couple of times, but haven't got it right. So maybe you can cook once whiting, because I have taken.
How can you not get whiting right?
Mate, you just
I
toss
know,
it into hot oil.
No, we grilled it. It's like too much we grilled or pan fried too much, or maybe we put something. See? Okay.
You're like the best cook I know, but you can't cook the most delicious fish in the world properly. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah.
No. I'm a big
Suraj
with
doesn't
the
like
food.
whiting. That's fair enough.
No, I didn't say that. I'm open to trying.
I'll sort you out, brother.
Yeah,
I'll sort you out. Next
yeah.
time we get a haul
Yeah.
of whiting, I'll
Whiting, I come to you. I'll bring my wife along, and she can try the whiting.
Yep, very
Yeah.
good.
Can I just say, yes, they are very delicious, the whiting, and that Anchors Away is the whiting guru of Western Port,
He's very good.
isn't he, Joe?
Yeah,
He's
he's
always
excellent.
coming in the ramp, and it's like, how'd you go? Oh, I only got 120. Like, mate.
He goes, he goes, oh, they were hard work, but yeah, I got 120.
Yeah, the man knows his whiting.
Yeah.
You've got to give him that. Give him credit there. And as we discussed last week, Rex Hunt's been out on the whiting. I think we already talked about that.
Yeah, we did. We talked about that last week. Absolutely.
Very cool. Kingfish. The Kingfish Mafia are slinking around the shadows, catching kingfish currently.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
they are.
we saw one of the very best today come up trumps in Western Port with a nice 80 centimeter king. That's Big T from Fishing Online with a beautiful fish. So no good offshore apparently, and then came in and had a look at some of the marker boys and got that one, which is a nice fish, Joe.
It's a lovely specimen. He knows what he's doing, Big T.
Guru. I'm told there's some fish turning up in the rip, and down at Welshpool, it's actually gone a little bit quiet compared to what it was, probably because there was 90,000 boats on the mark for a few weeks there, but I'm sure that'll pick up again. But yeah, if you can resist the tuna, there's still some kingfish around, Joe.
Absolutely.
Now, news during the week that Yamaha have released a hydrogen-powered engine. I think you wanted to touch on that a little bit as well, Joe.
Yeah, definitely. Look, I only saw it in my lunch break, but at the Miami Boat Show this week, Yamaha has announced the first hydrogen-powered engine. Can you imagine how much mileage that would allow us to go offshore?
Well, it's interesting they've gone straight past the electric power, Joe. So they must feel that that's the way of the future.
Well, look, I'm not an expert here, but from a basic thing, like hydrogen is, how can I say? It's a little goes a long way.
Yeah, okay. I'm not really across the technology myself, but it's exciting to see the advancements in outboard technology, but also a bit sad because it means we're all going to have defunct engines sometime in the future and have to upgrade.
So, like a hydrogen, I wonder if that's going to be like you'll have a gas tank on board. That could be
dangerous.
Could be dangerous.
Although it's probably dangerous having unleaded fuel under the floor too.
Probably.
So something to watch out for there, Joey, in the future.
Yep.
Very interesting. So that pretty much wraps up the reports. There's a few. I mean, we missed a couple there. There's mako sharks offshore. There's actually quite a lot of mako sharks offshore, especially I think Andrew Page and co got when we were out. Makos that are following all the bait around as well, Joe. And as well as obviously pretty much an all-round gummy shark these days.
Yep. The mako fishing has been exceptional. Cade caught a nice mako 2 days ago out of the Western Entrance, and yeah.
Very good. So, yep, deep water gummies and also makos as well offshore. fishing last night in Westerport, and he said, "What's going on? I just like trip in a row in the bay, and I haven't caught one, and I just keep catching 7 gills, which is definitely a trend that we've been seeing over the last few years, Joe.
Yeah, definitely.
It's getting 7 gills are quite ravenous, and they do actually eat gummies as well, which doesn't help.
Yes.
And the probably more consistent gummy shark fishing is actually offshore these days. So there's something to consider if you're after a few feed of the old gum dogs.
Yep. I've got another quick report as well. If you don't fancy driving big distances to catch a school tuna in Melbourne, there's plenty of tuna at Portland at the minute. Matthew Hunt Fishing Services absolutely whacked the tuna the last couple of days. So if you're interested in getting on board with him, yeah, there is plenty of tuna about at Portland.
Oh, geez, I would have been killed. I nearly forgot a report from Jonah.
Yes.
Jonah shot out this morning at 4:30 a.m. for another crack at some local kings, which he's become pretty into since catching them on holiday at Coles Bay. This time in his local river, the Derwent. After 3 hours of working one spot, he figured he'd try. He figured his luck had finally run out, and he decided to head back in so he could go to work. On the way in, he decided to have a flick at one of the last landmarks, which I'm told he said nobody ever catches kingfish there. So he was reluctant to have a cast there, but he did anyway. And he hooked up on a 6-inch plastic after putting it out on into the Burley Trail. He managed another 3 kingfish, and they were all in the high 60 centimeters, which is actually quite good size for that location. So congratulations, Jonah. You are the kingfish master.
So who are we going to ring the bell for this week?
Ooh, well, we're not prepared for this one, but how about Leo Miller, who caught 180-something kilo swordfish out of Eagle Net?
You almost forgot about that one.
Buddy, I'm a bit rattled with all the network problems.
No, that's okay.
But yeah, Leo Miller, Joey's looking him up now. Who has been on the podcast before? He's the original swordfish lord.
Yeah, he has.
And
this is not.
It'll be on.
Go back to the screen for a second.
It'll be on Team Tuna Chaser page, Joey.
But hey, we are live. This is a live podcast.
Team Tuna Chaser, Joey.
Yeah. Oh, got him.
Yep.
There he is there. Okay, there we go. There he is. He's edited this post. 186 kilo swordfish, broadbill gladius swordfish. There you go.
Can we get a live King Kong Donkey Kong Suraj?
King Kong, Donkey Kong, man.
Hang on a minute.
King Kong, Donkey Kong, man. Look.
Yeah.
Was that good?
That's better.
That's pretty good.
Good. Oh.
You sound just like the guy.
Yeah, couple of whiskey.
Oh, you can tell. Don't worry about that. It's real Russian roulette having Suraj on the show. You don't know what he's going to...
No, we don't.
You just don't know what he's going to come out with. Questions, Joey?
All right. They're gonna hit us with questions.
Hit us with questions, and I did just have them up. Jonah wants to know, what are some good tips for catching small kingfish? So, you know what? Small kingfish, they are much more susceptible to like a trolled, either a squid strip or a little skirted lure, Joey, I've found. You won't catch so many big ones doing that, but the small ones absolutely love those presentations.
Yeah, definitely.
And also plastics. Small soft plastic.
Yep. I was about to say that. Yep. Great.
Jonah has been catching them on sluggos and also just squid strips unweighted down the Burley Trail, which is a very good technique as well.
Yep. We've got JSAG writes in, fishing February, full moon for gummies this week, ? Or tuna still the flavour? Can't go wrong with targeting gummies with the lead up to the full moon.
Yeah, but we won't be doing it, will we?
Oh, I'm not saying it's like for us, but people
that
are
honest
interested.
With ourselves.
If you wanted to catch a gummy, 3 days before the lead up to the full moon, absolutely is a fantastic time to catch. I can't tell the scientific explanation why, but I can just go from times that I've caught.
Actually, someone asked earlier if we're going marlin fishing this year, and we actually are. On the long Labor Day weekend, we'll be up at Bermagui fishing the Alliance tournament, which is very exciting, and we'll be there representing Mully's Marine, my workplace, and we'll have one of the Haynes Hunter boats up there to show off.
Oh,
So,
which Haynes Hunter?
mate, we've gone the big gun. We've got a 725 enclosed with twin 200 Suzukis.
Oh.
We will literally be flying.
Love it.
Oh.
We should we'll do a little piece on that next week, I think. Get some pictures organized of the boat, and I want to see it.
I will.
Great. Yeah. So what do you think? Tuna still the flavor for February lead up to full moon, or what?
Yeah, I think so.
Do you think that's why they're really razzed up at the moment?
Yes, lead up to the fulls, very good. Pandemonium Fishing is throwing the gauntlet down for the tournament with the big 50-footer. They reckon that they've got us covered. They probably do.
Gibber D's written in and asked, we trolled for 8 hours off the prom for pelagics and got sweet FA. Any tips? ?
Beware the fish are.
Well, look, that's what I got to say about that. You know, a lot of people are saying tuna being caught at the moment. You can't just dump the lures in and hope for the best. You know, game fishing is visual. Look, I think Kings maybe a little bit. Look, I'm going to go out on a limb and say Kings are probably a little bit to the exception. Like they do come up on the surface, but generally in Victoria, we don't see them very often on the surface. There's times where they do, but you know, on Sunday,
if you find them with no boat pressure, you can definitely catch them on top. But when they've had a lot of boat pressure, they become a lot harder to catch.
Like Sunday when we trolled, well, we casted and trolled. It was all visually with our eyes. We're looking at the water. We're looking for ripples. We're looking for birds. So definitely worth being visual before chucking out the gear, so to speak.
Put it this way, Joe. We burnt 190 litres of fuel on Sunday because we were just zooming around looking for fish.
That's it.
It's not very fun when you put the fuel in the boat, but it is sometimes what you have to do.
That's it. A willingness to drive, as you would say, Dave.
A willingness to ruin your bank account.
Marty Phillips has written in and asked, which is going to be far superior fish in the next couple of years, tuna or kingfish?
Well, interesting, because there's definitely a aura of kingfish being the more impressive fish currently because they're a little bit harder to catch and a bit more elusive. So I think it'll continue down that path, Joe. But everyone knows I have a soft spot for tuna because I came up in the days I cut my teeth back when they were actually hard to catch. So now that they're plentiful, I still savor it. And when you look at it like objectively, they're very exciting to catch. Like that, the jumping fish that we had on the weekend and the top water bites, like we just don't often see that on kingfish locally. So that's why I do enjoy the tuna. Kingfish is a complete different challenge. It requires a single-minded focus. But I enjoy both. But I think that in the future, kingfish will probably be the more revered of the two.
Yep, I like that. And we've got Boweely123 has asked us, oh boy, does a fish think it's always wet or does it think it's always dry till it gets splashed?
Interesting question.
I think it's a statement.
Does a fish think it's always wet or does it think it's always dry?
I don't know. We got some fish behind us here in my lovely aquarium.
Ask them. How do they get splashed though? They're in the water.
How do you get splashed? Yeah, there you go. Okay.
They're still just
very good.
dull-mindedly floating around the tank.
That's it for the questions for this week. There you go.
Actually, I think there was another one which I'll quickly find for us. It was in a different. It was sent via a different. method.
Hey, we're also on TikTok, by the way. As we mentioned before, we went live on TikTok on the water, so make sure you give us a follow on that. We're uploading some interesting stuff to that, but we're also on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And don't forget to subscribe to us.
TikTok's a harsh mistress, isn't it, Joe?
Yeah, it is.
So, tonight's podcast has been interesting.
What's been the most interesting part for you, Surat?
It's always the company that's the most interesting part. Second is the whiskey, and then comes the rest, isn't it, Captain?
Yes. I can't find this question. Everyone who sends questions in, probably just do them on the Instagram story because otherwise I seem to lose them.
Instagram's very easy for
I
us.
can't keep track of everything. I'm sure it was really good though. So that'll just about wrap us up for tonight.
Yeah,
sorry.
It's been a good potty.
Yeah, no, I think it's been a good podcast. There's been obviously sounds like a couple of little gremlins still in the pipeline which we are going to get on top of.
Yeah.
But at least we're all still up and running currently.
We are. The connection didn't completely get severed, so we're good. But yeah, until next week, fishing friends. We've been Wind Against Tide. Dave Standing, Suraj in the house. I'm Joey Fernand. And we will catch you all next week.
Yeah. What do you got to say, Suraj?
Awesome night. Wish you guys have a great rest of your evening, and we'll see you next week. And with a better connection.
All right.
You were supposed to fix this. You were supposed to be the.
That was your reason for coming here tonight.
I was supposed to get it fixed better, but look, at least we had something. It dropped off, but it came back because my wife's been giving me, what you call messages, feedback. It dropped, it came back, dropped, came back, something, like that. So there was a bit of a slight interruption, but it wasn't like before that we got shut. So it's an improvement, but and next time, we'll make it better.
I rate your technical advising the same as your dumplings, an 8 out of 10. Room for improvement.
We're going into overtime here. We'll see you all next week, fishing friends. Good night.
Good night. Yeah.
Yes, I am pregnant, Paul.
Yes, it was a good one, Suraj. It was a good one.
Yeah,
It was very good.
Yeah, so, do you want to just keep going? We're still live. If you,
Really?
Yeah.
They can hear.
Yep, they can hear. Yeah.
Don't you look at the screen?
I
sometimes wonder about this man.
I'm gonna end it now. Though.